Up next on ijdm, going back to the Arrakis Digilink on a laptop? Yes, please.
Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
After the last few videos, I've been in contact with Arrakis, and the people there were kind enough to hook me up with different manuals and some software and just some different items I needed to really complete this whole project and series of videos. This will probably be the last one for a little while, simply because it's just I've done 4 of them down a row, and I only planned on doing 3, but I did have that one blow up video, and yes, I do have other footage of things blowing up. Because it's just one of those things, but luckily with the amount of them I have in stock, I'm able to go forward and hopefully restore a few more of them. And we'll do a quick highlight at the end of the video, just kind of showing the different ones I worked on and where I was with each one. Let's get into this now. Okay, well, let's see. We're gonna go CD and into my DOS directory, and then I do believe I put it in the remote directory. And yeah, we need a mouse, so let's activate the mouse driver right now. I'm just using the standard Logitech mouse driver I use for just about everything. I have a few others I use, but it'll work. DL3 remote. Yeah, we're gonna go with this one first, and then I'll go back and show you something else. But yeah, check this out. Totally cool. I mean, yeah, this is a, pretty much of era laptop for when these systems were used in radio, and yeah, it's on here. The question is, can I interface it to the Digilink? Well, the answer to that simply is no. I've fooled around with all kinds of things in the AutoExec.bat and the config.sys files. I've ran memory managers. I've gone as far as to make a DOS 5.0 disk, which the main unit runs on, but it just gives me this memory error thing, which I'll show in a moment. But yeah, this basically lets you play around with it minus any music. It's almost kind of a nice little demo thing that I don't know if they ever used it for a demo or not, but it pretty much shows most of the features right there in front of you, and yeah, it's pretty neat. Let's see. We can't really play anything, but I wonder if we can go into schedules. Yeah, so you can go right into schedules there. And thing is, it's not going to be operational because it needs to be connected to an operational Digilink. The idea of it is you'd have the Digilink in your control booth, and from a remote office or another maybe studio, you'd be able to operate it remotely, or I guess even dial in and operate it that way. But yeah, a little above my pay grade there. We never did that at the station I worked at, and trying to figure out the memory to make this run is just been impossible. Yeah, but this is pretty neat. I wanted to show this to you. And I'm going to show one other thing real quick, which was pretty cool, that I got a glimpse at the Digilink 2 software. So let's go ahead, and if I remember, it was Digi Remote. And this should fire right up just like the other one did. Yeah, there it is. I haven't fooled around with this one much, but it gives you kind of a glimpse at the older version of Digilink. You can see that the meter situation is totally different, and there's a few other buttons and things that are, a little different than it is, but it's pretty much the same operational thing. So what we're going to do now is put this should be my DOS 5.0 disk. We're just going to go ahead and put this in, and we're going to go ahead and just reset the computer and let it load from the good old floppy disk. Just so I can show, and maybe somebody out there can say, oh, well, this is what you're doing wrong, or that's what you're doing wrong. The closest I've come to getting it to actually run between a virtual 5.0 DOS environment on my Windows 10 laptop and this one's come far closer, but still just not enough to make it all happen. And I've moved stuff around, I've tried different configurations, but it's not getting enough memory to run, and I'm hoping we can see that error. So it looks like everything's loaded. I don't have it hooked to the Digilink right now, but I don't think I need it to be to show what I'm trying to show here. Yes, you can't find that, but I'm going to have to rerun the server program simply because, let's escape out of that because it's not going to find anything on the network. And I'm doing this via serial because I just don't know what type of PCM CIA card would be compatible with Lantastic, and until I get the actual system to run, I really don't want to go much further with it, with spending money on stuff that's kind of a frivolous expenditure, on stuff that really doesn't matter. All right, so we need to go into the LAN Z. I named it this because this is a different Lantastic program that lets it run via parallel port, or excuse me, serial port, which could be part of the problem. Maybe there's more memory involved than it just running off of a Lantastic card. That very well could be the case, but like I said, I just don't have, I can't figure out the things involved because it was DOS and it was one of those things that things were a little tougher. So we're just going to activate the server program just so that's loaded and pretty much simulates what it needs to. For some reason, it won't load it from the floppy disk properly. So we'll go ahead and go into, and I believe the mouse is loaded. So we're going back into this remote directory and DL3 remote, and hopefully, yeah, see, that's one of a ton of errors. I'm not sure how well you can see the screen, but one of a ton of errors that I get where program too large to fit into memory, abnormal program termination. Like I said, I fooled around with the amount of files, the buffers, and all that in the config and auto exec, but it isn't working. And in one quick second, I'm going to flip the camera over and go to my other laptop and just kind of show you how I was doing it in the virtual DOS 5.0 environment. All right, camera flipped around. We're now on a modern day laptop, Windows 10, all the bells and whistles of anything that possibly needs to be there. So let's go ahead and just power on this DOS virtual machine, but I messed up already. And that's the way we roll here on ijdm. Gonna need this cable. Let's see if I can. This cable connected before I do anything. And like I said, I'm not gonna bother hooking it to the Digilink because it's gonna be a no-go anyways. But it's just basically a USB to serial adapter for the good old VMware program we got running here. So let's go ahead and just kind of pop that in. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to just send a, yeah, that's one thing about Lantastic, you got to do it twice. All right, so we're booting up, going through all the config files and everything. You know what? Yeah, let's do this thing properly. All right, so we're plugged into the Digilink now. I'm going to go ahead and reset one more time. So it's actually connected to the Digilink via the serial port. It's a virtual serial port, but it is all the Lantastic software. Appears to be finding it and connecting, but I'll probably eat my words because I don't see it actually. Ah, there we go. Yeah, it connected. It's there. It's online. So it should be seeing the Digilink program. And the mouse, everything is installed. I'm running, I think it's Cute Mouse on this program. So let's just go ahead and, gotta hit the button there. CD remote. CD. It is really hard typing from this position with the camera in front of me like this. So we'll go DL3 remote. And on this one, depending on which config sys or which memory manager I'm using, usually just hangs, doesn't do anything. I can sit here and leave it for a half hour. It refuses to connect. And obviously something with memory or could be something else. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on here, why it will not run on this. Now I can go into my DOSBox virtual environment and run the program there. Again, I can't connect to anything because it requires a LAN or some type of serial connection, and using the virtual station was a little more what I'm used to for this type of thing. All right, well, what can we do? Well, we can't really do much more with this. See, it just totally froze up, and I'm going to show here, I think I got to power it off to actually get it to, yep. It's probably going to tell me there's too many connections now. Let's see. Nope, we're okay. We're good to go there. All right, so I believe I need to go CD, gotta hit the screen, CD LAN Z, and then I think it's just net. So if I go down here to, or up here to this, this shows all the things that can be connected. This is what the virtual machine has now, which is basically a copy of the Digilink system on DOS. The only thing I didn't do is try to clone the DOS from that machine to this virtual environment, but I mean, everything, I checked everything is exactly the same. So, I mean, the install's there and it's correct, but I am able to go in and then see there's the Digilink. It sees it, and I can map it to the drive. And I thought maybe this was part of the problem, that maybe I needed to map the actual Digilink drives to, and I'm figuring somebody was thinking that I needed to do this before anything. And yes, I have tried saving it, but for some reason it doesn't save. Even though you ask it to, it won't. So we'll just exit out of there. It's already got the drives, so I'm able to access, is it E? Yeah, there's what's on the Digilink just to the right of me here. You're looking at the disk drive. It is connected via serial cable and seeing each other. Again, it's not going to run the remote program. We'll just do this thing here, and we'll go CD remote, and then DL3 remote. Same thing, freezes. It's obviously not a problem where it's not seeing this or that. It just doesn't want to connect. Now, I can get the remote program to run on the Digilink, but that doesn't do much use because that's the unit that's actually serving serving the system to this. So that's pretty much useless. But yeah, it did, and I know what somebody else is already saying, and it does not work. I will do it right now, as a matter of fact, because somebody is probably thinking or getting ready to make the comment that there was one thing I didn't try, which I could have, but I also tried that too, and it's not working, and that's using the remote program I have set up on the other Digilink. So again, what we're going to go ahead and do is go click on the screen, CD, LAN, Z, and then we're going to run that program again to go ahead and map it. We'll just map it to E and F just like we did before. And just for giggles, I'm going to go ahead and do the N drive, and I'm going to go ahead and do the E drive on I. Yeah, so all the drives are mapped. There they are. They're there. So we're going to go into E, which should be the Digilink C drive, and we'll go into the remote program, DL3 remote. And yeah, it ain't going to work. I know why, but it's just not going to work. It's the same issues over and over again, no matter how I've tried to dial this. I have been able to get the Digilink program to partially fire up on the virtual thing, but it doesn't do much of anything. So that is that with this whole remote program. I just wanted to kind of feature it and show it because they were nice enough to send me. Again, don't go to Digilink for any of this stuff. They don't have the manuals. They don't have the software. If you need anything, just come to me and I'll check with them if it's okay to give so-and-so a copy or whatever. But that'll pretty much cover it for this remote feature. I'm going to do one other thing and just show you some of the manuals and some of the other statuses of the other Digilinks I've been working on right now. Moving right along, I needed some parts to the Digilink. I needed some of those pins and connectors that I showed from the first video. I was able to get everything I needed from them to keep me going for a while, so that was great. Appreciate a call out to Dale and the whole crew over there. They were been super helpful on getting all this stuff together. Again, do not contact them for any of this stuff. These literally were the last of the manuals they had. They were just happened to be sitting on a shelf, and he said, yeah, I'll send them to you. So here they are, and yeah, it's we got the Trackstar long menu and long manual menu, and yeah, it's quite long and just basically gives you all the functions and how to use it. I haven't really showed the Trackstar system yet, but I will get into it in a future video. It's basically the production side of the Digilink system. And then there's the, I guess this is the lighter manual, or no, this looks like more like connecting things up and a little bit about the Trackstar system. But this is the main thing I wanted, because it kind of explains about different outputs and how things work. So it's helped me. I still have a problem with the Digilink unit I'm using currently. To be honest with you, I'm afraid to pull any cards or move anything around because it is working fine. It's just the view meters are a little skewed. There's something weird with the output where the left channel is outputting almost probably 15 to 20 dB higher than the right channel, but we'll figure it out eventually by moving some cards around and doing that. I just gotta get up the temperament to do it, and just kind of, you know. So that's that manual. Next we have the Digilink 4 manual. Digilink 4 is one of the units I happen to have, but it doesn't have this front to it. It's just basically a blank front. I'm not sure if I showed it in the first video or not, but the DL4, from what I can understand, was basically like another hard drive system, and I'm not sure if they stored the music in it or not. I'm guessing they did because this is audio jukebox. The one I have, I think the hard drive is dead, so I don't know how much I'm going to be covering unless somebody has a SCSI drive they want to donate, and I can somehow find the Digilink 4 software that needs to be on the system. But again, I really don't want to keep contacting and bothering Arrakis for equipment and software that's so old at this point. Then we have the Digilink manual. Now this is for the Digilink 2, from what I've seen in the pictures and the way it looks with the, you know, the meter thing there, and it's given me some basic information that I needed to know. There's still a few things I'm fuzzy about, but I mean, that's just, you know, hit nor miss. Then we have another DL4 manual, this one for Windows. So yeah, there was a Windows program, and I do have this. Again, I'll show that in a future video. I do have this program. It does partially run, just I can't get it to connect to anything. And yeah, it's all there. Yep. Some information on that as well. And the last thing we have is the VGEM1AF unit. I'm guessing, and this might be just a wild guess, that I do have something called Gemini, but I'm not sure it's the same thing. It's just, it says a Gemini controller, and it looks like it's just basically serial and keyboard and monitor inputs and outputs. But it may have something to do with the remote program that I've been fiddling with, that maybe this is connected. Maybe one of the Digilink guys sees this video, can make a comment and say, yeah, that's what you need to make that remote program work. That could be part of my problem there. And believe it or not, I just realized that because I haven't really looked at this manual yet. So yeah, he sent it to me for a reason, and that's probably one of the reasons. So we'll look through this and try to figure out if that may have any bearing on anything. I'm not sure. I mean, that is a Digilink 3 unit, so this could be something I need to make that whole remote thing happen. Well, that'll do it for this ijdm. I've gone on long enough and rambled, and this kind of been kind of a ramble show and tell video, but I have been so crazy busy with different things that I haven't able to do follow-up videos, and believe me, I want to do more of them, but between my real job and this always comes second, obviously. But finishing up things, just as a bonus thing, I'm going to show some of the Digilinks I've been working on and what I've been up to in the final closing here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time. We'll start this bonus coverage right here with just some of the stuff that I've kind of fiddled with, but I haven't really gotten anywhere with. We have the Arrakis video controller Gemini unit, and on the back it's basically a bunch of serial connections, monitor connections, keyboard connections, and so forth. Next to it we do have the Digilink 4 unit. I got to be careful how close I go in with this camera because I still can't get it to operate just the way I want it to. Yes, I know, 40. I hear you. Then we have this cool little thing. I mean, this thing is, and I haven't really showed much of this other than when I was unpacking it. This is a controller unit for the Gemini, and somehow it connects, but I don't have the connector cables. And the way that the pin configuration is on the back, it looks like a thing, almost like a hard drive pin configuration. There's no way I'm going to be able to manufacture, so this is just kind of like a museum, non-functional piece at this point, unless somebody's got one of those cables that connects up and we're able to play with some day. But cool feeling keys. I never had one of these in my station, but I would have loved to have one of these to play around with and hit instead of having to use the keyboard and mouse, because I guess that's what the idea was. And I'm not sure if this was for the Digilink 4 or the Digilink 3 or all connected together. Not really sure there. We just had the basic system at where I worked. And as you can see down here, like this one does a beep, but does not power. It doesn't go past post, so something probably with a motherboard or bad memory or something. Got to flip-flop things around, and it takes a lot of time, especially when you pull those cards and all those wires. It can take upwards of 2-3 hours just to do that. This one, just got a little bit of bird stuff there. Boots, but it has a bad hard drive controller and I can't get the mouse to work. So again, could be something with the motherboard, or one of the I/O cards is gone bad on it, or controller cards have gone bad. The rest of them I really haven't gotten to yet. What I've been able to basically narrow down as far as working systems, I'm guessing I'm able to get 5 or 6 depending on the motherboard conditions, because some of them are, with the Varda batteries that were left on, were just so corroded in those sections that the traces were damaged, and there might have been further damage somewhere, in other places in the motherboard. Let's move right on to my other little room where I have some actual working units, sort of. Yeah, okay, this is my box of things, of units I disassembled. Basically, the systems that were in the worst condition as far as whatever, like this one, it's going to be hard to see with the camera. I'm not going to hold it too close because I know it does get blurry, but has some problems with Varda battery damage up in this upper section right here. Some of the traces look damaged, but I mean, I can't. Some of them I can't really tell if they're still working or not. Got some extra cards and various thingamajigs and doodads in there that make these systems work. I was able to restore a second one. This one is actually restored, ready to go. I'm not sure who it's going to go to or what I'm going to do with it yet. The only problem with it is it has the video card puts out kind of fuzzy video, so it may need a new video card, but that's not a big deal issue, but it is working. The one below it is pretty much as close to the one I have working now with the more modern style motherboard. And the CPU is missing and it needs RAM, so that's also on hold, but there's no reason why that system shouldn't work because everything was almost perfectly intact on it. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on ijdm.